Hello, you awesome, beautiful, and handsome friends. This is your pal, Edward here speaking, and thank you for watching another interview with Edward and one of our winning friends from across the globe. Now, our show has gone global thanks to you, and I appreciate you. I've also been dieting, so I've lost a few pounds, so if you do pick that up, let me know. And but enough about me. We've got one of my wonderful friends on the line. I've known this beautiful, amazing woman for a long time. She's a purpose-driven performance coach. She's someone who doesn't take a bull, and she's actually quite shy. However, she's overcome it with training and a strong sense of will. And she's from my beautiful state of New South Wales, where Sydney is located in wonderful Australia. Isobel Franklin, how are you today?
Morning, Ed. I'm fantastic today. And you?
I am absolutely excited because we have got an absolute stellar winner like you on our show with us. And Isobel, I just want to say, how has life been for you, and what are some of the things that you've been learning and going through?
Oh, life is fantastic. It couldn't be better. And, well, as you know, I expose women's beauty and bring out their sexiness and confidence.
Well, I think women are as a very hot-blooded heterosexual man myself, I think women are beautiful, and I think women's equality is awesome, and I think it's great. I love how you empower women and help women. Now, Isobel, before we dive into the detail of sort of exactly how you help them, tell us a little bit about you and what you do and how you help the world and that sort of thing.
Oh, a little bit about me. My background is welfare. I used to be a child protection officer, and I worked for the homeless in Sydney, in fact. So working for many years through that, I decided I wanted to see results. I wanted to see the end result of when I helped people. And I couldn't do that when I was working for government departments, so I decided to be a coach. And the service I provide now is for women to gain that confidence in their business. Because, you know, some days you have women in business that are still intimidated by men. And that's what I want to bring out in women.
Oh, that's incredible. And just on a side note, I had no idea you worked in child protection, but now you've said that, I could imagine you would have been awesome in child protection. There you go.
Yeah, they used to call me a pit bull with a bone because I never, fighting for people's rights, standing up for what's right, and unconditionally loving humanity. That's what I'm all about, is unconditional love and kindness.
Well,
yeah.
Well, the funny thing is I've known you for years and I had no idea you worked in child protection. And I got to say, thank you for your service, admirable work that you're doing. So very good community-driven job. So I just want to say a big thank you. Now, that's amazing. And when it comes to women, you know me, I think women's rights is everything, right? I think women's rights are awesome. And I want to unpack this a little bit, because you're not the first person to say that, women often, tend to get boxed in by men. Can you expand on that? Why are women often in these situations where, they're not getting that equal chance up against men? How does that work? Can you unpack it a bit?
Well, I think it goes back to and I don't want to sound too old because, I'm still 50 and fabulous, right? But
I'm an old guy. I'm a very old man too. I'm probably older than you, but continue, Isobel.
So I think it goes back to the belief system of how women were supposed to be. So back when I was growing up, I was taught we had to get married, stay at home, cook the dinner for the man, and have children and make a little happy home. So that belief, I still think, is still there to this day. And more women, they're trying to get their career as well as be the wife, the mother, the nurse, everything all combined. Well, I think, why can't we have it all? Why can't we have the beautiful husband, the great relationship, the children, and our career. We can have it all. So I think women are starting now to understand that they can, but they're still stuck in the ego part as well. They have to be better than men. They have to be 3 steps ahead of men, which I have to say, I have been in business for a long time. I was very successful in business. So I was trained many years ago to actually make it. You had to be 3 steps ahead of men for being a woman. So for me today, educating women that you don't have to be 3 steps ahead of men. We don't have to compete against men in business in the same way we used to many years ago.
Yeah. And I have to say I agree with you, because there's a lot to unpack here, and there's a lot of, obviously, you and I obviously agree how there's a lot of disagreement on this issue.
Yeah.
Because, it's amazing, because you're right, in the old world, women had this expectation, just raise a family, everything's fine. Now they've got to work full-time and become CEOs as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that the expectations put on women today is completely fair, because men don't have those expectations. I think women have way higher expectations placed on the men. So as a man, for example, whilst I proudly wash dishes and clean my home and cook a lot of meals around here, but society does not expect me to do that. I'm just choosing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's quite unfair. Women have so much pressure applied to them than men. They have to wear makeup. They have. I'm not saying I think this. I'm saying this is the societal zeitgeist. Women have to look pretty. They have to wear makeup. They have to, go to the gym 5 times a week. They have to be CEOs, and they have to have 5 children and do an awesome job and be happy all the time. That seems this view that's being pushed on women. And what do you think of that?
Look, I think we're in 2020 now, and it is changing. Over the years, I've seen changes. But I think women do have that expectation. However, I think the mindset needs to change, where men and women, for example, women of today, there are some very strong, empowered women. But they also have to remember if and when and I'm talking about business, and I have seen this many times, if and when they go into business and they want to start a business, they have to accept who they are. They don't have to compete.
I love where you're going. I couldn't agree with you more. It's sort of like, why should we as individuals have to conform to the expectations society puts on us? I couldn't agree with you more on that point.
And I mean, it's not just women either. We're at a time where we all know the boundaries. I mean, we know boundaries. We know we don't cross certain boundaries. But I have seen a lot that women take offence to certain things in business where it comes to men.
For example?
I do know a really empowered woman. She is absolutely beautiful. Now, she does not take offence to sexist remarks. There's a difference between a sexist remark and putting a woman down. Now, I know probably a fair few women are going to come at me and say, you're a woman and you should stand by us. But, but for us, there's a group of us that if you are going to be in business and if you are going to play with the big boys, as they say, then you can't have it both ways. You can't batter your eyelids and have a joke around or tell a sexist joke to a man about a man and then expect a man not to do the same and then cry out that, well, I'm a woman and you shouldn't be doing that.
Oh, absolutely. I believe, freedom's a two-way street here. I'm the first to agree with
Yeah.
you on that one. And it's funny you say this. You made an interesting point that made my ears prick up before when you said, you know, originally women had to be 3 steps ahead of men to get anywhere. Now, I'm obviously male and I come
Yeah.
from a Middle Eastern background. And in a lot of situations in my life, and I remember this at the workplace, I'd always have to work harder than if I was with a coworker that was, say, white, blonde hair and blue eyes. I'd always have to work twice as hard as them to get anywhere, right? Because people would always say, "So Ed, where are you from?" Wink, wink. And I'd sort of explain my background and they'd be, "Oh, okay." So they'd always ask about my background and it'll always be seen as a negative. And I remember
Interesting.
I'd always have to work harder than everyone else, so I can understand that from a female experience. If there is a level of discrimination, the discriminate class has to work harder. There's some point to that.
Yeah. I remember many years ago, and this is many years ago, before the welfare industry that I went into, I went into sales. And before that, I was hired by this company and I had to book appointments for my male salesmen for them to sell NEC systems, telephones. So,
So not like these ones, not phones like these.
no, not like those.
You mean the old ring ring, those ones?
Yeah, we had to tell people the features of this phone and why they needed to have it. So I was the one booking the appointments. Well, while I was there, just quickly, I actually saw these gentlemen in sales and how ruthless they could be in getting a sale. So, and I'm talking many years ago. So I approached my boss and said, "I want that and I want to do that." And he actually laughed at me and
Wow.
said, "Well, you're a woman, you won't be able to do that at all because you don't have what it takes like a man." And I went home, I was devastated because I thought, why? Because I'm a woman.
Oh,
And I
that's
went back.
appalling.
I went back the next day and I said, "Okay, this is what I will put to you," because we had a gentleman who was the top salesman and he was very cocky. And I said to my boss, "I want to challenge you that I could do that and better than what he could."
Oh,
So,
that's the spirit, Isabel. I like it. That's the spirit.
so that's where it comes with 3 steps ahead of the man. See, back then. And my boss being, and I'm going to say it, he was a sexist pig, but I loved him to death because he taught me very valuable lessons in sales. So he actually said to me, "I'll give you a challenge. You have to sell a certain amount of phones within a week." And within that week, it's so long ago, I'm trying to remember.
Right?
So
This is a cool
he,
story.
so if I didn't make that quota, I was out of a job.
Gotcha.
He told me that he would fire me.
Okay.
So I got the 2 women who were with me, 2 or 3 women who were with me, and we made a plan. So I worked all night booking appointments. They booked appointments for me, and until 9 o'clock at night, then the next day I would go out and I would sell these NEC systems, these phones, and I actually beat the top salesman.
Oh, that's and then now that I know what everyone's thinking. Okay, once you bet the top salesman, then what happened? What did the sexist pig do, and what did the top salesman do? What was the continuation of that story? I like this. This is a movie.
He gave me my commission check, which was a lot more than the top salesman earned, and he said, "Welcome to the team." Unfortunately for him, I got the fire in my belly that I wanted to go out on my own. So I did. So I left that job And I went into, sorry, go on.
And how did the top salesman take it? So in defense of your boss, who was a sexist pig, he at least gave you the opportunity. And when you delivered, he's like, well, Isobel, I'm wrong. You win. So at least he conceded. Yeah. You got to give him that one. He conceded his position.
Well, as I said, even though I saw him as that back then, looking through the years, he taught me very valuable lessons. One, just because somebody tells you you can't and you're not good enough, just because you're a woman, doesn't mean that you can, that doesn't define who you are, doesn't define what you can do. So he taught me a very valuable lesson.
Yeah. And what did the best salesman do? I want to know what happened in that story. How did the best salesman take it? Because he said he was cocky. How did that guy react?
Well, he asked me out on a date.
I can say, like, yes, they were sexist. Sexism is wrong. However, you got to call a spade a spade. At least they sounded quite reasonable in the end. When you proved them wrong, they were like, okay, Isobel, you win. They were pretty good that way. They were good losers. They were good losers.
They were good losers. They were. And they did say they were not expecting what I achieved. Because I'm 4'11", so I'm not very...
Are you?
Yeah, I'm very petite.
I thought because even though we've known each other for years, we've never actually met face to face. I thought you were about, like, at least my height. I'm like 5'11". I thought you were at least 5'11".
No, I'm 4'11". Yeah.
No way. Okay, that's so there would have been a height thing as well. So they would have been, how does a short woman absolutely kick my butt? And in defense of them, they conceded. I like the fact, whilst of course I don't agree with their sexist views, but they were good losers. And I'm going to say that is such a cool story. Moving on from that to the present day, how do you help women today? So when women approach you and saying, Isobel, I want to be coached and mentored by you, how do you take all those learnings and enhance the lives of women today?
Oh, I provide a service to set them up for their future self, in business and in personal life. I speak to them I add value to what they want to be feeling and what they want to achieve. Yeah.
Brilliant. And I'm just going to ask you, to all the wonderful, not just women, but women and men out there, but let's focus more on women here. However, I'm sure it relates to everyone because, again, whether you're a women's coach or an all-gender coach, I still learn a lot. What's your top advice to women right now to really, really, really make the most out of the post-COVID-19 corona and the new world we're going into?
Be okay with you. Be okay with yourself. Be kind to yourself. A lot of women lose themselves when they become a mum, a wife. It's always they lose who they are. So for my advice to women, just because you're a mum and a wife, you're still you. You're still sexy. You're still beautiful. So that's what I would, and not give up. Even to the single sexy single is great for them. You know, they lose themselves too because they're at a stage where they're running a business, they're successful, and they're looking for someone to share it with. And they decide to settle just for anybody, just so they're not as lonely. So my advice would be is love you first. Love who you are.
Wow. And again, it's funny, even though you help women, I used to have the same problem, right? Not loving myself. What are your top 3 tips for women and anyone to improve their love for themselves in a sustainable way? Top 3 tips.
Top 3 tips would be write yourself a note and put it on your fridge, wherever you see it, in the bathroom, in the mirror, and write, I am enough.
Ooh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I am enough. So you put up a note, I am enough, where you always see it. So that helps what, re-educate your brain over time?
Yeah, it helps your mindset. It helps with you are enough beauty. It resets you don't have to be somebody or expect to be somebody that somebody else expects you to be.
Nice. Second tip.
Second tip is to explore the body.
Ooh. Just so a quick one. This is going on LinkedIn and YouTube. This is a
keep
PG.
it clean, Ed.
Yeah, so, this is a PG channel. So please, in a PG sense, tell us what you mean by explore the body in a PG sense.
It's okay, Ed. You can stop going red now.
Especially here, red.
What I mean by explore the body is we and this includes men as well.
Yep.
You know, where in society we are still taught, or we're still told how to look, how to feel. If we're big, we have to be skinny. We have to be a certain size. So when I say explore the body, again, go into the mirror, have a look at your whole body, and tell yourself, what do I love about me?
Ooh.
Instead of saying, oh, I hate how I've got these scars. I hate my body. I hate how fat I am. I hate how skinny I am. I hate how I look. That's what I mean about explore the body.
Oh, that's very, very impressive. I think it's a great move. I think it's an absolute great move, and I've actually done that exercise myself, and it's a very, very good exercise. And again, what is your third tip? Awesome, Isobel.
My third tip is I have to keep it PG, right?
Yeah,
okay.
PG, LinkedIn, YouTube. You know, it has to be PG. Oh no, if it was over 18, this would get hot and spicy. But we're gonna have to go.
No.
We're gonna have to go mild and tasteless. So no hot and spicy, I'm afraid. Mild and tasteless, but just a dash of spice, as long as we can maintain our PG 13+ rating.
That's for another interview, right, Ed?
Oh yeah, that's an interview with Edward after hours. The R-rated. Like the Jerry
After
Springer.
done,
Be like Jerry Springer after hours. Do you remember Jerry Springer?
Well, geez, you'd get a lot of audience for that one.
Yeah.
The third one would be, look, you're not alone. You know, and this goes for men too. You are not alone.
Mm.
What you think is going to be true for you. If you don't think you're good enough, well, that's what's going to happen. That's going to be true for you. When you start to change your mindset and thinking of your qualities, your best qualities, even if you don't think they are, well, they are, because you are enough, you know? Yeah, it's all about the mindset. If you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you won't.
Isobel, I love it. You speak very direct, awesome truths. And I was going to say, as we bring this epic interview to its awesome conclusion, what are some of your closing thoughts for our wonderful ladies and gentlemen across the world watching this interview? Some closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts would be kind to yourself and pay it forward. And that doesn't have to be money. That can be paying it forward, unconditional love for the humanity. We don't have to love people's actions, but we still have to love the human heart.
Oof, that's deep, very deep for an interview with Edward, and that is just gold. And I got to say, Isobel, thank you for this incredible interview. I've learned a lot from this. So I got to say, bravo. I'm very excited to share it with our community. I was going to say, Isobel, how can people get in contact with you?
They can get in contact with me through LinkedIn. They can get in contact with me through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. They can get in contact with me there. Yeah. I'm very open.
Oh, sounds good. Isobel, it's an absolute pleasure. And just before you go as well, what secret stuff have you got coming up, and what's the future direction for Isobel Franklin? Any beans you can spill, or any secret previews you can give us?
Well, without giving it too much away, because we are a PG interview.
We are PG.
We're going to be saucy, sassy, and sexy.
Oof.
There you go.
Oof, I got to say, in a PG-13 plus manner, sauciness, sexiness, and savviness and beauty is always welcome on our show.
Beautiful.
Well, I'm looking forward to it coming out, and I just want to say, everyone, thank you for watching this interview. As you can see by my body language, Isobel Franklin even made a seasoned coach like me squirm with a yearning for learning more, and I got to say, it was an actual life changer. Isobel's amazing. Isobel, we want to give the last word to you, and I just want to say, final word to you. On the behalf of everyone, thank you for being on our show, and we appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, and thank you very much for having me.